So we're going to start with the Bennington banner. Callie, can you pull up that first picture for us? Voter fraud allegations were examined and rejected, and this was interesting. This is part of New England newspapers. This is having to do with our audit. When we originally brought it to the town, right? What do? You're just a citizen, a regular guy. You find a scandal. So I went to my town clerk, and from there she didn't want to help me, so I went to the Secretary of State and ended up with the Board of Civil Authority and the town manager, and I went right up the ladder, right? Pretty incredible stuff, but eventually the Secretary of State basically wrote a letter for the town, and then they read it at one of our select board meetings, and that's what generated this article, that all of our fraud, all the names, everything, the allegations that we were making were basically completely debunked, and that was the story, and that was the end of it. It's what the stuff we're going to be talking about here today. This is the letter that was actually sent by the Secretary of State. My office has no authority to add or remove names from the voter checklist and does not have investigation nor enforcement authority over the registration of voters. So essentially what Will Senning and the Vermont Secretary of State told us as their administrative agency, they have absolutely no authority to do an audit, even if they wanted to. It always falls back on the town, your local town. In this case, that would be your town clerk, Cassandra Barball here in Bennington, and the Board of Civil Authority. Right? And those are the people who failed us. So what they did in this letter, this isn't the letter I thought I was going to get, but essentially in the letter they wrote us is they told us they didn't have authority, and then that was the first half paragraph, and then we got about 4 more paragraphs telling us how Cassie has been a reliable servant for elections, and she's done it for 25 years, and there's no reason to question anything that she does, and we trust our town clerk. And I used to trust our town clerk too. But essentially they didn't do an audit. They can't, even if they wanted to. But yeah, here is a letter or a post, we saw it from the Bennington Banner, saying that that's what happened. And I just want to let everybody know that's not what happened. They never looked, and that's your first red flag. When your elected officials refuse to look at election fraud, you might have a problem going on. So again, picture 3, Colleen, is the Vermont Digger Secretary of State James Condo's article, and I don't know if anybody caught that, but they basically checked themselves. Again, he just told you, not me, that he doesn't have authority. But in Vermont Digger, we read a great article by James Condos that said they checked themselves and there's no worries. Everything's good, man. We're set, right? And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I didn't find that very settling. So I wanted to look a little bit farther. In that article, James Condos claims that they only had 7 complaints, and it actually says years before that they went with 0 complaints, right? So literally we gave him hundreds of names, me and Colleen, just the 2 of us. And I know a lot of other people that wrote in and complained. That article is propaganda. Vermont Digger is not a reliable news source, and they're helping the state lie to you, okay? Well, stay on, there it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for anybody. And as far as the election integrity goes, they stole this election, right? There's no doubt in my mind, because I did the work and I looked, and nobody's going to be able to convince me otherwise, and that's why I'm here, hopefully showing you guys what we found. And so again, the Secretary of State, let's go with what he said. He said that there were 7 problems with the elections. 6 of those they caught, they were just mistakes and it wasn't fraud. And then they had 1 double voter that they did catch. And again, this is what they reported, this is what Vermont Digger reported, was 7 people, okay? So here we go, Larry Gothier sitting right there in the corner. Larry, did your vote count? No, it didn't count. So here we go. Larry Gothier, Jesse LaCrosse, Tina Maynard, Matt DeSalle, Deb Harrington, Justin Harrington, Millie Harrington, Juanita Baker. That's 8.
Mine didn't.
9. James Condos is lying to you. Okay, those are people who voted, but they weren't on a participation list, on any participation list. They weren't on the town list, they weren't on the state list. I see that as a problem. And how many names should I have to show you guys before we're entitled to look? You want me to answer that? 1.